Hello, everyone. You know, as an extension of the glorious music that we always have at SAJ, I am so excited to welcome you all to Live and Alive concert number 2. I want to take this opportunity to thank Claudia Naffo for putting this all together, to Diane Cole and Phil Barnett for their support of the program, to our sound engineer, to our cameraman, and most importantly to Renee, who we will hear from in a few minutes. And I also wanted to encourage everybody to not only enjoy the concert, but afterwards go and check out SAJ's website. And we hope that you'll join us for some of our other fabulous programs. But right now it's time to hear from Claudia.
Thank you, Janet. So I'm very excited to be here today. I have these notes here, and there's actually no need for me to read these notes. I'm with Renee Katz, a fabulous singer, a fabulous human being, and I thought she was exactly the person, the artist I wanted to invite in the middle of a pandemic and talk a little bit about what it's like to be an artist in the middle of a pandemic. But first, I think we should tell them our story, Renee.
Sounds good to me.
So Renee and I met at a marvelous music festival in 1977 called the Red Fox Music Festival. It was right near Tanglewood, and we often spent the weekends watching the BSO rehearse in Tanglewood together. It was a very intense camp.
On Saturdays.
Yep,
Right?
every Saturday.
Mornings.
Yep.
Right.
And we lived in the same bunk. Do you remember that? Yes. We lived in the same bunk. And actually, Renee was at my Sweet 16, and I found some pictures last night in my parents' apartment. And then, as college kids, we lost touch with one another. But a few years ago, I found Renee at Don't Tell Mama, and I was so excited to go, and I was completely blown away by her performance and everything she's done in her life and accomplished. And so I'm going to ask Renee a couple of questions, and then you're going to hear what she does. So, okay, Renee, I'm going to ask you this because I have my own question for you, and that is, how did you survive without in-person performance since last year? How have you managed?
Well, it's been difficult, but I'm very disciplined, and I really need music in my life, and I need arts and creativity in my life, and it really helps when you have to step back and, spend time with yourself and figure out what's important. So I kept on working with my pianist musical director who's here today, John Cook, and we had to figure out technology to be able to do that. First we were on FaceTime, and then we learned Jam Kazam. And so we had to learn technology. And so we rehearsed 2 or 3 times a week on Jam Kazam, working on new music, working on our old shows. So that was super important to keep on doing that for me. And then I write poetry. So I noticed that there were other poets online with groups where you do process poetry. And then you share your poems, but you also write them online. And then you share whatever thoughts come into your head, and then later on you work on it. So I've been doing a lot of that, and spending a lot of time with my son, who is home. He's 23, he's in grad school, but I really appreciate having him here and spending that time with him. And then my wonderful husband, Barry, who's here tonight also. So, as long as I have music in my life, I'm good, and I love writing, and that's, and we also take care of my parents, who are very elderly and in wheelchairs, but they're in their own home, so we spend a lot of time helping them. So I've been busy, and I have my cat as well.
Amazing. Renee, I wanted to ask you, everyone has heard your story, and maybe some remember your story. And I don't want to spend time talking about that day in 1979 when your life changed forever, but I want to, thinking about the pandemic and the resilience people keep talking about, and artists in particular, finding a new way to express themselves. Can you talk a little bit about how the resilience that you developed from that event in 1979, were you able to channel it during this incredibly difficult year that we have had?
I think so. I think when we step back, and again, when we have a chance to look at our lives, not all of us have a chance to have a pause. And we all have had a chance to have a pause. And that really gives you a chance to figure out what is important in your life. And besides that, talking about fear, so I've learned to try and use my fear and not let it control me. That's something I work on every day. And I feel it's important to feel the process and not just glide over it. So my father is a Holocaust survivor, and he's been a wonderful role model. And my mother is also practically deaf, and she improvises her own music. So both of those two survivors are wonderful role models for me. But my father is unable to express his feelings, and I have spent a lot of time realizing that if you walk into the fear and you're able to use it for the good, I'm an occupational therapist also. So if you're able to use the fear and not let it control you and do things in a focused way as best as you can and try not to let it overcome you, then I think things can happen for the good, and you using your compassion and I would hope that compassion goes through the music and through the poetry and just connecting with the people who's giving you their love. So it's all like a circle.
Absolutely. Okay, my last question, because we really just want to hear you sing. Can you just tell us a little bit about the genesis of this particular program, when you first performed it, and have any of the pieces that you've selected through the pandemic, has anything changed in terms of what you include or perhaps took out?
Well, this program
I see your musicians over there chuckling.
was performed 2 years ago, but on April 4th, we were supposed to be at the Beach Cafe on the Upper East Side, which I mentioned in the show. But we did many performances of this show at Don't Tell Mama, and it's all Julie Stein music, and it's really fun for me to do this kind of music. And I thought that this would be a good program to do during the middle of a pandemic,
Yes.
as opposed to, I do other things that are more serious, although some of this material is serious and intense in many ways, but I'm working on a second album now called Winter Awakenings, which is the music of Maury Eston, December Songs, which is a modern-day version of Schubert's Winterreise.
Oh, wow.
But right now, I think that Julie Stein is great and perfect, and we love the music, and it's just so much fun.
And we need it with all the
We
Broadway
need some
theaters
fun.
that
we
are
need
closed.
Some fun, and isn't it great that Broadway is going to open soon? And
Yeah.
things are happening, and it's going in a positive direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just so happy to be back in the city. I live in Queens, and coming over the highway on the Long Island Expressway, when you see that panoramic view of the city, it was just really elating. And I'm just so thrilled and happy and honored to be here at SAJ.
Well, we are honored to have you, and
Thank
I'm just
you.
going to get everything out of your way, and we will begin.
Okay, sounds good. I'm so happy to have the chance for us to come together tonight. Maybe you'd like to dim the lights, snuggle with members of your pod, grab a cocktail or a Shirley Temple. Please refrain from flash photography and kindly mute your cell phones, unless, of course, you're streaming from them. Ready, Sir John? And ready, Sir Tom?
Yes.
I only know what I know.
I'm gonna live and live now.
Well, I know Julie Stein wouldn't let a pandemic get in the way of creating music. This show was about to be performed a year ago at the Beach Cafe on the Upper East Side when the pandemic hit. It saddened me because when Julie was alive, he frequented this lovely cafe. And being quite the notorious gambler, and with OTB being right down the block, he would often sit in their bar with his dry martini, cigar, and his betting slip in hand. If I close my eyes, and with the pandemic slowing down, I can return to that place where Julie loved so much and sing his beautiful music. Indeed, to me, that would be magic. It's magic. Without a golden wand or mystic charms, fantastic things begin when I am in your arms. I don't know what it is, that magic that is his, that's something extra special that makes life more livable. We walk along the river, and through his eyes I see a world of things I never knew could be. My puddings and soufflés to him become bouquets. That's something extra special that he adds to everything. A room becomes a garden, a hammock is a tree, and emerald leaves come falling down on me. If in this world of fancy a shilling should be missing, the wealth of love and kissing should banish despair. A cloud must come and go, a cold wind surely blow, but oh, it's good to know before the breeze blows sweet again that something extra special will sweep the worry out. And isn't that what love is all That medley began with its magic, written by lyricist Sammy Cahn, whose real name was Samuel Cohn. Actually, Julie and Sammy were considered one of the most successful songwriting teams ever. And that Something Extra Special was written by Yip Harburg, and his real name was really Isidor Hochberg, of legendary Wizard of Oz fame. Both lyricists were born of Jewish immigrant parents on the Lower East Side of New York City. Julie wrote an astounding 1,500 songs for Hollywood films, The Hit Parade, and for Broadway. For stars like Barbra Streisand, Frank Sinatra, Doris Day, Carol Channing, and Ethel Merman, just to name a few. You can only imagine how daunting it was to pick which songs I was going to do tonight. But I'd like now to introduce you to Julie's absolute favorite song. Let's give the waltz a chance, let's dance and let's see what happens. Let us carouse while Strauss born in 1905 in London's struggling East End. His parents were Ukrainian immigrants, and they owned a butter and egg store. He was a piano prodigy at a very young age and played with symphony orchestras. And then his parents moved to Chicago during the red hot jazz scene, and he found himself playing alongside greats like Benny Goodman. It was there that he was persuaded to change his name to the less sounding Julie Stein, spelled S-T-Y-N-E instead of the regular S-T-E-I-N. Julie then moved to New York City and became a successful vocal coach. Hollywood called, and he wrote a trunkload of great movie scores. And then he came back to New York City and wrote 18 Broadway musicals. So tonight, we're gonna dive into the world of Julie Stein, and let's just see what happens. And if a great adventure happens to happen, won't it be nice if it happens? Won't it be nice if it happens to you and me? My next pair of songs, Julie wrote with Comden and Green for the Tony Award-winning musical Hallelujah Baby. It's important to remember that Julie came from humble beginnings. Jerome Kern was his idol, and he spent most of his life trying to raise his work up to that bar. In my own life, I know that struggle, and don't we all set standards for ourselves? Being good isn't good enough. Being good won't be good enough. When I fly, I must fly extra high, and I'll need special wings so far to go from so far below. Should I try? Am I strong enough? Is there time? Have I long enough? Gotta fly, and if I fall, that's the way it's gotta be. There's no other way for me. Being good just won't be good enough. I'll be the best or nothing at all. I want a door that belongs to me. I want a bed that belongs to me. I want to know when I climb into bed, I'll wake up in my own morning. A morning that really belongs to me. I want a floor that belongs to me. I want a chair that belongs to me. I want to know when I rock in that chair, I look up at my own ceiling. And oh, what a feeling that's gonna be. The golden hours waiting in a line. I can pick like flowers hanging on a vine. And on that day that belongs to me, I'll have a man that belongs to me. To share the door and the floor and the bed and the chair and my own morning. Where every hour is golden, no one to whom I'm beholden. A morning most of you know, many of our great classical composers were Jewish. Many converted or changed their names to assimilate. Felix Mendelssohn was Jacob Ludwig Mendelssohn. And George Gershwin was Jacob Gershwin. And Leonard Bernstein was really Louis Bernstein, to name a few. And did you know that Jewish music have written some of the greatest Christmas music ever written? Around the 20th century, when most of these songs were written, Jews flocked to the music industry to escape rampant anti-Semitism. In writing Christmas music, it made them somehow feel assimilated and even patriotic. Here are some famous songs and who wrote them. We have White Christmas by Irving Berlin, it's really Irving Berlin. Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire by Robert Wells and Melvin Haliburton Mel Torme. And I'm gonna pick Santa Baby because I used to fundraise with Jacob Javits. And believe it or not, Jacob Javits' daughter, Joan Javits, wrote Santa Baby. Who knew? The next songs are by Julius Kerwin Stein and Samuel Cohn. And this song of mine in 3/4 time, wishing you and yours the same thing too. Weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping, and I bought some corn for popping. The lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight, all the way home I'll be warm. Oh, the fire is slowly dying, and my dear, we're still goodbying. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Well, of all the seasonal songs, this might be my favorite. And it came from an unlikely source, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Winter was warm, summer soft that year. The winter was warm, without a sign of frost, like winter lost its way that year. It seems as I recall, no blossoms fell that fall. Me didn't leave at all, or did love paint an illusion? Now trees with a sigh stand and shiver while their leaves fall and die, and all my dreams are there, wrapped up somewhere in summer leaves. Oh, what I'd give to be in love again this year. The winter is cold. Will it ever be warm as it was
You know, Renee, I'm listening to all these stories that you've been telling about all these really famous Jewish composers, and I love their work, I love their effort, I love their creativity, but there's kind of just one problem here. I'm not Jewish. So, is there anything that I could be part of, maybe in this show? Or
I think that just John wants some attention. What do you think?
no, but I think a different point of view might be necessary, and I can even use Mr. Stein to kind of typify my point. Well, how about this?
Go ahead, John.
You can take the moon, gather up the stars and the robins that sing merrily. Put them in a box, tie them with a ribbon, and throw them in the deep blue sea. You can take the flowers down in Lover's Lane and that sentimental poetry. Put it in a box, tie it with a ribbon, and throw it in the deep blue sea. Not for me, all that stuff, all the dreams that ruin your sleep. Not for me, I've had enough. Love is one thing you can keep. You can take the plans and those wedding bells and whoever sings, oh, promise me. Put them in a box, tie it with a ribbon, and throw it in the deep blue sea. 'Cause love and I, we just disagree.
John, I never realized how negative you were.
Well, I kind of grew up in life, you know.
Well, I'm just trying not to be a downer. I believe in wishing wells, and I also believe in a lot of things the daisy tells. I believe that a four-leaf clover brings lots of luck, lots of joy, lots of happiness. I believe those things. And when it's Christmas, I believe in Santa Claus.
How could that be? You're Jewish.
Why do I believe? I guess that I believe because I believe that dreams come true. If you wish by a wishing well, don't tell the wish or you'll break the spell. It may sound naive, but that's what I believe.
Well, if that's what rocks your boat, I guess, but... Well, let's see, in this complicated world of my song from Romance on the High Seas...
And I'm sticking to my song from It Happened in Brooklyn. I believe...
You can take the moon, gather up the stars and the robins that sing merrily. Put it in a box, tie it with a ribbon, and throw it in the deep blue sea. You can take the flowers down in Lover's Lane,
that a four-leaf clover brings lots of luck, lots of joy, lots of
tie it with a
happiness.
ribbon and throw it
I
in the
believe
deep blue
those
sea.
things. And when it's Hanukkah, the menorah shines real bright. I spin the dreidel, eat a canadle, and every latke in sight. 'Cause I believe.
You can take the plans and those wedding bells and whoever sings, oh, promise me.
If you
Put
wish
it in a box,
by wishing well,
tie
don't
it
tell
with
the
a
wish
ribbon,
or you'll break the spell.
throw it in
may
the deep
sound
blue sea.
naive,
'Cause
but
love
that's
and
what I
we just
believe. Well, John, can't we somehow meet in the middle?
I think it's kind of a standoff, but I don't know. What's in it for me, really? Tell me, what's in it for me?
Your paycheck?
Oh, well, there is this song from a
I
movie called
thought so.
Fade Out, Fade In. I don't know, have you ever heard it?
Let me hear it. Is it negative?
When you think you've hit the bottom and you're feeling really low, you mustn't be
discouraged.
There's always one step further down you can go. When you're lying in a gutter, feeling just a bit unsure, just wait until tomorrow. You may be lying flat face down in a sewer.
Don't be afraid of a little raindrop. That don't mean nothing bad. Just remember one little raindrop started the Johnstown flood.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
When you're living on a park bench, eating grass 'cause you've no dough.
You're like a luck'll change mañana. You may be 6 feet under, helping it grow. So just remember, when you're lower than low, there's always one step further down you can go. Don't be afraid of a little rumble. What's that? For goodness sake, just remember one little rumble started the Frisco Quake.
San Francisco?
He's 2 for 2.
When you're living on a park bench, eating grass 'cause you've no dough.
Your luck'll change mañana.
You may be 6 feet under, helping it grow. So just remember, when you're lower than low, there's only one step further down you can go. I believe. Oh, the lady who didn't believe in love is weeping. The crocodile tears are falling from her blue eyes. Did she hurt a pretty finger? Or do her eyes just smart? Or could it be that possibly she stumbled a little and broke her heart? Oh, the lady who didn't believe in love's not talking. She simply won't tell a soul what the trouble is.
Oh, the lady who didn't believe in love is
legacy is that his songs held up a mirror to the emotional climate of our country, lifting our spirits and giving us hope. These songs were written during World War II, but their feelings that they tap into continue to live on, especially now. I don't wanna walk without you, baby. Walk without my arm about you, baby. I thought the day you left me behind, I'd take a stroll and get you right off my mind. But now I find that I don't wanna walk without the sunshine. Why'd you have to turn off all that sunshine? Oh, baby, please come back, or you'll break my heart for me. 'Cause I don't wanna walk without you. No, sorry. There's gonna be a hallelujah day when the boys have all come home to stay, and a million bands begin to play. We'll be dancing the victory polka. And when we've lit the torch of liberty in each blacked out land across the sea, when a land can proudly say, I'm free, we'll be dancing the victory polka. And they'll be marching down Fifth Avenue, the United Nations in review, when this lovely dream has all come true. We'll be dancing the victory, dancing the victory, dancing the victory. And we'll heave a mighty sigh when each gal can kiss the boy she's kissed goodbye. Just kiss me once, then kiss me twice, then kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Haven't felt like this, my dear, since can't remember when. It's been a long, long time. You'll never know how many dreams I dreamed without you, or just how empty they all seemed without you. So kiss me once, then kiss me twice, then kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. Well, here are some more of my favorites from Julie Stein's Bells Are Ringing, Subways Are for Sleeping, and Funny Girl. Long before I knew you, long before I met you, I was sure I'd find you here's the rundown. Every day that comes once in a lifetime. Take each day and gather the rosebuds in it. Fill each minute. Every day that comes once in a lifetime. Think of now, tomorrow is waiting in the wings. Who knows what it brings? While the future waits, the present swings from day to day in Brooklyn or China across the bay. Only once comes this particular sky. Only once these precious hours will fly. Only once in a lifetime today comes by. So live, live, live. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. We're children needing other children, and yet letting our grown-up pride hide all the need inside, acting more like children than children. Lovers are very special people. They're the luckiest people in the world. With one person, one very special person, a feeling deep in your soul says you were half, now you're whole. No more hunger and thirst, but first be a person who needs people. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. With one person, one very special person, a feeling deep in your soul says you were half, now you're whole. No more hunger and thirst, but first be a person who needs people. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. I'm gonna go get my picture of Julie. I guess with all these cameras, we can see the picture of Julie. Julie was considered a great collaborator and even was called the master of dramatic truth. But the things I loved most about him was the respect he had for the lyricist and for the craft, and simply stating that good words make good songs, but most of all, his melodies. Tonight, I'm going to dedicate my favorite song to a songwriter I just love. Cheers, everybody. I know he's around when the sky and the ground start in ringing. I know that he's near by the thunder I hear, and in advance. His words and his words alone are the words that can start my heart singing. And his is the only music that makes me dance. He'll sleep until rise in the light of two eyes that adore him. Bore him it might, though he won't leave my sight, for a glance in every way. Every day I need less of myself, I need more him, more him. 'Cause his is the only music that makes me dance. Yes, his is the only music that makes me That song was from Broadway's Funny Girl. Barbra Streisand's career-defining performance in both the play and the musical ultimately became a symbol of ethnic pride for Jewish Americans now and forever. So we're going to lift a glass now and say, here's my glass, L'chaim, and we're going to wish Julie Stein neshama, which is the same word for soul in Hebrew. And he's just a wonderful composer. So cheers, and l'chaim to you all. Wherever we go, whatever we do, we're gonna go through it together. We may not go far, but sure as a star. Wherever we are, it's together. Wherever I go, I know he goes. Wherever I go, I know she goes. No fits, no fights, no feuds, and no egos. Amigos, together. Through thick or through thin, all out or all in. And whether it's in place or show, with you for me and me for you, we'll muddle through wherever we do together. Wherever we go. Time after time, I tell myself that I'm so lucky to be loving you. So lucky to be the one you run to see in the evening when the day is through. I only know what I know. The passing years will show. You've kept my love so young, so new. And time after time, you'll hear time of the show where I'd like to thank the talent, dedication, and kindness of the following people. First of all, Claudia Naffo, the artistic director of SAJ, and Debbie, the coordinator, who helped us so much. And I would also like to thank the tech people who did a fabulous job, and SAJ's office staff who did promotion and ticket sales, the tech crew for their excellent setup of the room, Jeff Harner, the director of my show, and one of Cabaret's greatest icons, who I have the pleasure of working with, Tom Kirshner, my terrific bass player, who I'm happy to be reunited with here tonight. I haven't seen him in over a year, and probably a half. It's amazing. And my amazing musical director and arranger, my godsend for the year, kept me working, John Cook. Thank you so much. Lastly, I also want to thank my husband, who's a wonderful help, and all the people who tuned in tonight. Thank you so very much. You have done what we call a mitzvah, helping SAJ to thrive.
Just in time, I found you just in time. Before you came, my time was running low. I was lost, the losing dice were tossed. My bridges all were crossed, nowhere to go. Now you're here, now you're here, now you're here. And now I know just where I'm going. No more doubt or fears, I found my way. Just in time, you found me just in time and changed my lonely life. That lovely day, and of course to Julie Stein. 'Cause now you're here, and now I know just where I'm going, know just where I'm going, know just where I'm going. No more doubt or fear, I found my way. You found me just in time and changed my lonely life. That lovely Thank you again for all being here and for joining me in my celebration of Julie Stein. Margaret Stein, Julie's second wife, said her husband described himself or fancied himself as a sort of Peter Pan. And then she said, he must be right because he's never grown up enough to forget where dreams are born. I will leave you with the very first Julie Stein song that I fell in love with. Dreams are born and time is never planned. It's not on any chart, you must find it with your heart. Never, never land. It might be miles beyond the moon, or right there where you stand. Just keep an open mind, and then suddenly you'll find never, never land. You'll have a treasure if you stay there, more precious far than gold. For once you have found your way there, you can never grow old. So come with me where dreams are born and time is never planned. Just think of lovely things and your heart will fly on wings. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here.